Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our Ukatsu podcast. I am your host, Joe, and we've got a full cast of characters who all have Ukatsu shirts on today. Hey, we actually, every single, if it's not a shirt, it's a sweatshirt. To my left, we have the one and only Ben Brooks. How you doing, Ben?
Yes. It is podcast time, and I'm on the podcast,
Podcast time.
Here I am.
With a fresh hair part. But you look like Mads Mikkelsen right now. Alright? Is that not the haircut?
That's a good thing or a bad? I changed my haircut a lot.
It's a compliment.
Oh wait, yes.
Yeah, he's got
The
a
hair,
Mads Mikkelsen
yeah.
haircut. Anyway, straight across from me, we have actually another newer comer to the podcast of this series since the host change. It is none other than Will Outrider.
How you doing, guys? Back at it, finally.
Back at it, finally.
I've been wanting to be back on the podcast for a while, so.
Yeah, your
Here
voice
I
is
am.
always booming and echoing. And,
Booming.
we always have to turn it down 3 notches lower than everyone else's, as indicated in our recent YouTube video featuring you and trivia, which you won,
Yeah.
by the way.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
Super surprised.
Yeah, you're the top dog when it comes to Overwatch trivia.
I
Yeah,
guessed almost all of it.
I can't wait for the... and the truth comes out. Oh, I can't wait for the next challenge. We gotta figure out what the next challenge video is. I think it's gonna be fun.
I'm excited for that,
Yeah,
too.
more challenge videos on the way.
That's a fun
Last but
series.
not least, we have the lovely Liv. Liv, did you enjoy these last few days?
Oh yeah, lots of moving till 6:15 a.m. in the morning, 2.5 hours of sleep, and then I went to a concert and came. No, I didn't come back. Got like 6 hours of sleep, 5 hours of sleep.
Yep.
So I've gotten less than 10 hours of sleep in the past 2 days. So
Yep, that's
we're
right.
cruising, man.
Yep, we
It's like
talked
my
about
entire
it.
senior year.
His senior year.
We talked about it not too long ago. Moving, best worst thing, worst thing.
Worst-
We're officially
worst thing.
all moved out of our houses and apartments, and now it's time to unpack for me. But that's who everyone is today on our show. But we're gonna kick it off with our first topic, which is Ukatsu relevant news. Camps are done, guys. Camps are done. We're official. We only have one
Yay.
camp, technically day camp left in our part of our encore week. That is the
First person day camp.
Overwatch, Rainbow, CS:GO,
And more camp.
and more.
I think it's
And
primarily gonna
more.
be Rainbow Six. It sounds like.
But yeah, a lot of people want to play Rainbow. But that will be it. That's it, Ben. I know you weren't on the podcast last week. How you feeling about that?
Not as bad. Again, we've done a lot of work stuff outside of summer camp. Usually we just disappear off the face of the planet during summer camp season, but the help's been helpful. For those of you that have come to summer camp might have noticed that we've been missing a lot or disappeared in the middle of it or not been present for parts of it, and it was because of other work. So
Yeah.
that felt good being able to accomplish stuff outside of summer camp.
Contrary to what you guys were seeing, we weren't just piddling away on our laptops on Reddit on the couch. We were actually setting up a lot of meetings that are very, very, very important to the integrity of Ukatsu. So expect more coming after. Will, I know it was your first summer camp experience. What did you think?
I enjoyed it. It was a different experience. I've done summer camp for the Boy Scouts before, and I absolutely love that. Ukatsu summer camps are fantastic too. It's fun to get to be with the kids and hang out with you guys who come to the summer camps, see you guys get passionate about the games that the summer camp might be about. For instance, Overwatch camp was, in my opinion, fantastic, especially with Arabella coming out and doing some coaching. So I think it was just all around, every summer camp was fantastic and super fun.
Yeah, couldn't agree with you more. Liv, you got anything to add to summer camps before we close the books on summer camp 2019?
It was cool. I've never actually gotten to run a summer camp before. I've been a lifeguard, and that was probably the closest thing I've gotten to like kind of taking care or like at least working with children. So it was definitely a cool new experience to have, and I really liked the Overwatch camp too. It was a really good group of kids.
It was.
But yeah, everyone was fantastic. There's a lot of talented kids that come to Ukatsu and the different games that they play. So it was really cool to see how many talented kids there are.
Yeah, and if you're a kid who went to camp, we hope to see you throughout the year because Ukatsu is not just a summer camp operation. We do coaching sessions, tournaments, you name it, we've done it.
We're year round.
Yeah,
Oh,
that'd
yeah.
be a part of one of our challenge videos because that'll.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I
that'd be
like
really
that idea.
fun.
Yeah.
Who can eat the most bullet ants? I was going.
What?
I was going
What?
in different directions there. It's gonna
Was
be
this
hot
Fear
peppers,
Factor?
and then I thought of bullet ants.
I think we
and
went too
then-
far with bullet ants.
Yeah.
I think we should back that one up a
Yeah,
little
Why
bit.
not, like,
Let's redact
That's
that
for
statement.
that's for season
Uh,
7.
But
We ran
but
out
there
of
will be
ideas.
more Ukatsu content. You guys might be wondering. We've seen all the vlogs that have been coming out for all of these summer camp weeks, and we will be continuing with our vlog series, probably highlighting more the day-to-day as well as the company building, the brand building behind Ukatsu. We'll show you the ups, the downs, the good, the bad, and the ugly when it comes to Ukatsu. Those are a lot of fun to produce because it really shows you how much work is put into this business, not just from our part, from Maya and Ben's part, but from everyone's contributions, and the kids too. That, along with the challenge videos we were talking about, we've got a lot of great ideas that are just around the corner, and because we're not here from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. working on summer camps, we have more time to dish those out. So be sure to like and subscribe. We're so close, by the way, to our 1,000 follows or likes, either on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook is the closest one right now, but as soon as it happens, we get some more cool stuff. But last but not least, Ben, would you like to share a Super Smash Brothers related Ukatsu piece of news? We had a meeting of sorts last week with a certain Bruce and Sheila Kussler.
Okay, for a second there, I had to think about what the Smash meeting
Yep,
was. 'cause we
that's
talked
why I
about
set it
Smash a
up
lot.
for you. Like
there we
that.
go, layup, and it is High School Esports is here with a new title, Super Smash Brothers in the winter. We got a whole new season, so in between our Overwatch and League of Legends season, you guys can compete in Super Smash Brothers. We'll talk more about the details later, but start practicing that if you want, and also for you middle schools out there.
Yeah.
That's going to be your first title. You get Super Smash Brothers for Gentry, Jeff, Oakland, Lang, all of your schools. Smithton, I'm sure there's also one I forgot. But either way, we're going to get you guys set up and get your gaming clubs organized this fall, and you guys will have big tournaments to participate in too. So
Time to start grinding.
yeah, if you have a Switch,
Yeah. Start
We're
practicing.
starting them young
Yeah.
in the esports.
I mean, the kids have been asking for it for a while now. Like in middle school, will you have an esports program for middle school? And I'll say that it's not going to be as intense. I don't think it should be.
No.
It doesn't mean you're going to be playing 2 matches a week or doing serious training or practice sessions every single day. But you get an opportunity to compete within your own schools. And then after that, you get to represent your school in these larger scale tournaments that Ben was talking about and competing against your rivals to see who really is the best Kirby main. For some reason, y'all
Why is it
always
always
play
Kirby?
Kirby. I think it's because he's adorable.
Hey, Sammons is a
Samus
Kirby
just picked
too.
up Kirby. Look at him nodding his little head over there. No more Samus. No more Samus. But yeah, very exciting news, and I hope you guys can attend the esports. And here's the thing, guys: if you are in 7th grade, if you're in 6th grade, and you're listening to this right now, participate in your esports program, even if Super Smash Brothers isn't your top game, because what that'll do is show your school principals and the school administrators that you care enough about esports that maybe some other games can be featured, right? You always have people asking, are you going to do Rainbow Six Siege? These are high school kids. And some middle
It's a very
school
high
kids.
voice.
That's a,
for
I
high
was about to
school.
say that. That's a very
You
high
know
voice
what?
for a high school kid.
Some of us are late
I'm not
bloomers.
judging. Yeah.
Some of us are late bloomers. But the answer is yeah. If you show that you can participate in something, you get your grades up, you get your attendance up, you think it's an awesome program, and you're making friends. Yes, we still believe here at Ukatsu, it's always been our stance. There is no game, no competitive game, I should say, that is out of the question. So
Yep. Yeah, and-
CPS Mortal Kombat right
Yep.
around the corner.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's like you said. You got to support it, even if it's not your game. It's still it's still the industry that you like. You know, you like esports. You want to see more esports. You've got to support all esports. You know, it's a growing community, so we all have to stick together and support one another, even if it's not your favorite game. You know, you might not like Fortnite, but Fortnite is extremely popular. It's still an esports, and you know, it's growing. So. You know, it gaining support means that other esport titles will gain support and notoriety.
Yep. A rising tide raises all ships, as they say.
Yep.
So no need for turf wars, no need for bashing Minecraft or Fortnite. We can all be a part of the same family. And that's about it for Ukatsu Relevant News. We're going to move in to our news segment. that's more global presence. And our topic, the game itself, is Fortnite. Whether you like it or not, but the actual stories that came out this weekend go well beyond just Fortnite Battle Royale.
It's a big story,
right? What happened this weekend, Will?
Well, a couple of different things. Boga, I think is that how you pronounce his name?
Well,
Boga,
what was the event? Why don't you preface us with the event that was?
What happened?
Put me on the spot now. Now I can't remember
The
the name.
Fortnite
of the
World
event.
Cup.
Fortnite World Cup. Yeah, I couldn't remember.
So the Fortnite World Cup happened. There was trios, duos, and solos.
Yep.
But there were several esports players that were in their teens.
Yeah.
To the point where the person who won solos with Booga actually got first place, and he's 16 years old.
16 years old.
Huge.
The average age of Fortnite professional gamers is 16.
You can't drive a car, but you can win $3 million.
$3 million. It's massive.
It was so funny just watching all the faces, the face cams at Arthur Ashe Stadium.
That was so cool looking.
There was like some, sure, maybe one or two 24-year-old looking dudes, but a lot of those kids seemed younger than the kids that we work with here at Ukatsu. Some were as young as 13 was the minimum age. And Ben, what do you think of the significant? I mean, you saw all the headlines after that. I don't know why nobody paid attention until after the crowning of the champion, Booga again, the 16-year-old. But what do you make of all that?
Well, it's kind of like when the prize pool was just announced, and you hear some families, specifically families that maybe aren't as involved in gaming or don't even know what gaming is. They're like, "Oh, that's a lot of money, video game thing. That's a cool thing." You hear about that? Happen all the time, actually. Families or parents coming in saying, "Hey, did you hear Fortnite tournament's giving away $100 million? That's a lot of money." You're like, yeah, it was. And I think so when someone actually finally won, a payout of $3 million, and you see that it's a 16-year-old, I think that's something that actually really clicked for some parents, for many parents actually. Like, whoa, wait a second, this is real. My kid plays Fortnite all the time. Why did that kid win $3 million?
My mom actually, she's like, "Did you hear about Booga?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, my mom,
Booga.
bless her heart, doesn't know how to use technology just in general. But the fact that she knew about that and she was telling me about it, I was like, yeah, we did know that. Yeah, we play it all the time here.
Yeah, like you said, it's world news. I mean, it is a big deal. Somebody just got paid in a single day. It might not be from the efforts of a single day. They trained for it, but in a single day they got $3 million.
Yep.
That's we're talking about on the equivalency of professional athletes now.
More.
It's more than a
I love
professional
that
athlete.
graphic that shows like that little bar of like, hey, Booga got paid $3 million. Novak Djokovic, who won Wimbledon 2019,
exactly,
won like 2.8 million, and then something like Tiger Woods won 2 for the PGA,
exactly,
for the Masters. It's like, the payouts are real.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, skins
That's
and
what I was gonna
cosmetic
say.
items.
Right.
I was gonna say, you wonder though, how sustainable is that for Epic Games? I mean, they make a lot of money. They can keep doing it every year. That much money given away over and over again. It's cool. Mm-hmm. I know our kids now who aren't 13 are like, "Oh, next year I'm 13. I'm going for the World Cup." And I'm excited.
Yeah.
A year from now, even if you saw the professionals, or maybe not professionals, but some of the more entertainers, the streamers, Ninja, Courage, Dr. Lupo, all of them who were there casting, a lot of them, they're hungry. You see the tweets too. Tifu, like it's all a joke. It's all fun and games. We're really good at Fortnite. We're the big dogs, and then you show up and you don't perform. You don't live up to those expectations. That's a big deal. That's a big blow to maybe your pride or even your brand. So next year, if they do the World Cup same way, it's going to be a
land tournaments have that effect on people because you literally are sitting there watching somebody else on the podium.
Yeah, it's a big deal. Wow. It's a completely different environment. Even for us, we see it all the time too. Like you said, it's a different environment. Just our weekly Fortnite tournaments
makes people want to step up.
Yep.
Makes people want to step up.
We have kids sitting in our hot seat, air quotes, and like a lot of times, like it's just they're in an environment, people are watching them, they perform like worse than they would normally perform.
Sometimes you just crumble under the pressure and you quit the game and you start playing something else, which is fine too. Nothing wrong with that.
No.
It's you gotta make a choice.
Pantheon main or something like that. I'm
Yeah.
just kidding.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this,
And
Zach,
all of a sudden, you
I
switch
just wanted to
games.
see if you would hear
And then
this
all of a
portion.
sudden you're playing Payday every day instead.
Payday. Oh my god. But I used to love
understand.
Payday,
Yeah,
man.
Payday's great.
But
I
actually,
like
that was only one piece of this whole Fortnite news.
Yeah.
But again, it's not necessarily relevant to Fortnite. Yes, season 10 is coming. We're very excited about that. We'll do a piece of content.
Season
but
X.
there was more. There was actually more interesting facts that I found. So the top 4 duos that won first, second, third, and fourth place all had a coach, which I thought was a very interesting statistic, and they all happened to be coached by the same person, known as Destiny Jesus. He came up with that name. He's on Reddit, but I thought, wow, that right there, proof is in the pudding, right?
Yeah, that's an accomplishment for sure. That's a big deal to be able to say, I trained those guys.
Does he get some of the money? I feel like he should.
No.
No, but now that this has happened, his services just went up.
Yeah.
He
That's
can
true.
say I trained champions.
Mhm.
I can triple my services for the training. It's crazy.
Nice resume. I helped get $7 million.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, for real. Yeah,
Oh, really?
That's a big deal.
And I think it goes to show that even if your coach isn't necessarily as mechanically skilled as you,
Yeah.
just having somebody who's smart enough, who's tactical enough to look back, analyze your gameplay with you, and to coach you on what you should be doing early, mid, late game, your win conditions, those are all really important, right? That's something that's always been a cloudy subject for a lot of gamers and hot shots in the industry. It's like,
yeah.
well, I could beat you in a 1v1 any day.
Yeah, I
That's not the
never,
point.
I never
That's not
get
the
that.
point.
That's like that is something though that history has said. Just the infrastructure in other sports has proven time and time again is beneficial. The professional sports, obviously, Bill Belichick can't run as fast as his quarterback, or as his quarterback might probably run faster than Tom Brady, but run as fast as wide receivers and all that. Like, if we're being honest here, like the coaching. It makes such a big difference. Coaches, analysts, infrastructure makes a real difference in your ability to improve. And I think we're going to see more of that. Colleges hiring real scouts, real analysts, other large organizations.
Yeah,
the most successful ones have that infrastructure. So
Yeah.
it's just
Columbia
more
College,
evidence.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
put a real coach on their team. They got real results.
Exactly. It's a big deal.
So yeah, just a plug for Ukatsu. We do coaching here, by the way.
Oh yeah.
And we wouldn't charge you guys to be coached unless we really believed that there's an opportunity for the kids to learn. We're not trying to sell snake oil here. We're not going to
Exactly.
put Will, who doesn't play Fortnite, in a Fortnite coaching position
Probably not.
whatsoever.
No.
So if that's something that you're interested in, whether it's Fortnite, whether it's League of Legends, Rainbow Six, that's something
I
can.
can help you with Rainbow Six.
Not
and Overwatch.
tying. I know
Yeah.
Will's very proficient at tying knots.
I could show you how to tie knots. Yes.
And Samus can coach you on
How to knit.
But again, that's something that we offer, something to think about, and that is still not the most important piece. And all of these are probably equally parts important, but there's still another piece of news, because following the Fortnite World Cup, big announcement: Clout Chasers FaZe have actually recruited their first female gamer by the name of Ewok. And interestingly enough, this is so crazy, because I talked about her to all of you guys last week.
Yeah.
Then she gets picked up by
Yeah.
FaZe.
It was
The
weird.
interesting part is that she is actually deaf.
Yep.
So she
Really?
plays
Yeah.
with the
Just
visual
the
sound
visual sound
effects.
effects.
When I was talking about her, she had a clip of I think she killed Zayt or somebody really big, very, very skilled at the game. And she's known as like Fortnite's very, very innocent player on FaZe, and so she just got signed. What do you guys make of it?
The reception was really, really good. Sometimes, again, even now in the ever-changing world, different social norms and all that stuff, it's been widely accepted, and I think some of the stuff that people have said, like for FaZe, it's a very good move for them in general. Like, it's a very good position. She's a very good player, and again, I don't know if her kind of brand kind of fits their usual type of player, but it might be a thing for phase 2 where they're maybe trying to shift a little bit in their own direction, especially after the lawsuits and all that. But if it works out well for her and things are going well for her, and I don't know, maybe we'll hear about it later, her terms are okay, then it's probably a pretty solid move, and again, a good step in the right direction for female Fortnite players and professionals.
You guys have any opinions?
I'm excited because I didn't know this piece of information at all until you told me like 5 minutes ago. So I think it's cool because obviously she's a girl, And then it's also cool as Fortnite, because I really don't hear about a ton of very popular women Fortnite players. So the fact that she plays that, and also like Def also can play at that level, and it's just being, that's just awesome, dude.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And she's a streamer. She's garnered a lot of interest so far just because of her talents. Without sound, you have to play this game at an even higher level than expected. So that does a lot for the disabled community, right? The handicapped community, to be able to say, hey, this is a big step forward. And I think Ben hit the nail on the head overall. Very smart decision. FaZe is clearly pivoting their brand from where they were a few years ago with Call of Duty montages and all that. They've got young people. They've got High Sky,
yeah.
who's 11 or 12 now. I don't even know how
We'll see
old.
High Sky 2 years.
Mongrel recently signed. And then you have Ewok, so naturally their brand has to pivot, right? They can't advertise the same, I'm going to cuss you out, drop 50 bomb, and then go have a party and drink and smoke, because that's what they're known for. We can't ignore that fact. You can't do that with an under 15 audience or under 15 player base anymore. So
Yeah, I think, again, a very good move for FaZe. And again, besides the fact that she's a girl, because I think as far as gaming goes, there's no separation between skill level between players.
Completely
women
agree.
and good women,
Completely
or men and
agree.
women. If you're good enough, you make it. And a lot of times, for her being that talented, very happy she made it. But as you said, especially for the disabled community, that is something that is really, really empowering and very exciting, because hopefully we see more of her.
yeah.
I hope everything goes well, term-wise and all that, right? Hopefully.
Well, they got better contracts.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Oh,
it's just-
I gotta say one thing. Oh no, it wasn't related to that. I thought it was for a second. No, it was. I had to say it was FaZe Banks.
There's a lot of Twitter drama.
Yeah.
Man.
It was not even about her, but it was about FaZe Banks like telling his team guys at the World Cup or something like, "Hey, you did a great job. You guys did great." And then who was it? It was Mega who responded with the Tfue gif making the heart at FaZe Banks. I died when I saw that.
I guess
was
it's
like,
good enough they can all laugh
Joke
and joke
about
about it.
Yeah.
But I guess the only people that aren't laughing are the people who have to pay all the
all
lawyers.
the lawyer
Yep.
fees.
As a
Yeah.
part of this process. But again, congratulations to everyone that we talked about during the Fortnite World Cup zeitgeist, whether it's Booga, the 4 players, the Zayt, or not Zayt, it's I'm trying to remember the winners of duos.
Aqua and no.
Nyrox?
Yeah, not yeah.
Nyrox,
That's
yeah.
Nyrox, yeah, as well as Ewok, who was recently picked up. We're done talking about Fortnite now. We barely talked about the game itself. We
Right.
talked
Yeah,
about
it's news.
what Fortnite
Oh, yeah.
has done. So guys, again, be appreciative of this game. It's big. Embrace it. You don't have to play it, but support the local communities and the national communities. All right. It is now 23 minutes into the podcast, and I will give you two, because you are the only people that have had experience with the new Hero.
Oh, yeah.
Literally Hero. I'll give you a 2-minute fast break on what your thoughts are.
Well, really cool. Okay, dropped out of nowhere. That was great. I thought it was awesome that they dropped it. It's finally here. New character. Smash is amazing. This character does not have combos. It's like a Robin, a sword mage that has a bunch of abilities. It's actually quoted as the character with the most abilities. Actually, forgetting Kirby, since Kirby actually has way more abilities technically. But so far, very interesting.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's a very interesting character. I think he's my main. I'm not sure.
What does he do? What's the difference? What is weird? Why does this character have so many abilities? Will?
His down B literally allows you to cast spells. It gives you 4 different spells, and you have mana to spend
Yeah.
on those spells and your own personal
Yeah,
abilities.
just like RPGs.
Exactly,
like
just like our
JRPGs.
JRPGs. I played a lot of Dragon Quest and liked it a lot, and so when he dropped, we tried him out. Like literally just a few moments ago, and I think I like him a
Yeah.
lot. He's
And-
really awesome.
I'm
I
getting
like
a list
it.
of 4 moves, like you said, but there's way
Yes.
more than 4.
Exactly, there's way
I
more.
don't remember how many. There's a lot.
There's
more
a
than
lot
4.
more, but it gives you 4 random ones, and so far Kamikaze and Magic Burst is amazing.
I've read from the community. He's got so many abilities that just
Yeah,
are
he's
like
crazy.
one-shot abilities that are
Yeah.
pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
But it comes at a cost. I don't think it'll actually be very competitive because
Yeah.
there seems to be RNG. It's pretty random about what abilities you get, and you're immobile when you have to use those abilities. You
You
can't
can't
change
turn. Yep.
directions.
Yeah,
so
that's-
most of his abilities go in one direction, and so if they go behind you, then you can't hit them. So But really cool. I mean, interesting concept.
Super fun character. Yep.
Yeah.
And your main.
And my
My
main.
main.
I like him a lot. I like playing him a lot.
Well, you guys could be sure to get that experience. If you don't have the Fighter's Pass, we have it here at Ukatsu. You can try it out during Open Play or any one of our Smash events or in the new Smash Leagues that are coming to you in Columbia public schools and private schools. Okay, best worst thing. A segment introduced by Tom and who will always carry that name. You guys came up with this, and I love it. Liv, what is our best worst thing of the week?
DLCs.
DLCs, downloadable content, as it is known. We're not talking about the old, we made a horse armor joke, sure. But we're talking about modern day DLC, right? Which goes everywhere, best and worst.
Yep.
By far. What are some examples of some best? I know, Ben, you've got the best DLC in your mind. I already know what
there's
you're
a
gonna
lot
say.
of good. Yeah, I'm gonna say The Witcher 3, Blood and Wine, because it's basically its own separate game. But a lot of the DLC actually that has come out that people don't talk about a lot are basically separate games. You think of Ark, you think of Subnautica, that are coming out with these expansions that are well like $40+, which for those games that's very, very expensive, but they're a lot of content. I go back and I even think of the DLC from like Fallout 3, Broken Steel, that allows you to continue the game on, that added story elements. Those are always been my favorite DLC, the ones that adds a whole new reason to go back and play, new quests, new items. Those are great. And Blood and Wine for The Witcher 3, cheap, and over 30 hours of content. It's a whole new game. So that's always been my favorite. I beat it finally. It took me a lot longer than it should have. But those have always been my favorite DLC for games. Usually single-player games.
Did you ever play Far Cry DLC?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Those are
I never
also
played it, but I know that was a big,
Mhm.
like, this is a completely different type of game now, or different
Yeah.
theme.
The ones that don't reskin stuff or add stuff to the current map, that gives you a whole new place to explore. It just feels like I'm getting way more out of my game than I paid for. I will say, the ones that are $40+, those are, make you feel a little.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Will, do you have any positive DLC experiences lately with our modern generation?
Does Skyrim count as a modern
Oh my
DLC?
gosh, this game will never die.
Oh my god! So
it does kind of.
I will say that my favorite DLC of all time. He was talking about The Witcher 3. I'll talk about Skyrim. My favorite DLC is definitely the Dawnguard DLC for Skyrim. Like you said, it added on so much story. It added in a lot of cool features, cool characters that were really cool and neat and fun to play against, fight. But the biggest thing is, like, recently, as Skyrim has been re-released, how many times now, the DLC is kind of wrapped into two other DLCs with, like, the one that you can build your own home. I can't remember what it's called, and then the one where you go fight like the old Dragonborn. So it's actually like one DLC wrapped into a bunch of things, and it expands it a lot. So I have to say that's definitely my favorite one of all time.
Yeah.
Recent DLCs, I mean, I haven't played anything recently with a lot of DLC.
I mean,
So
Hero.
yeah, I guess that
More fighters.
more fighters for Smash is always awesome.
Yeah. Keeps the game fresh, makes you want to
Exactly.
go back, makes us revisit.
Yep.
Those are the beautiful, bright things about DLC.
Would I guess I don't know if this is a dumb question, but would like all of the changes to the Fortnite map be a DLC?
so I guess including this one, those I think is more as like patches and updates. Like those are already pre-included in the game. You get that as the game goes, as it updates.
It was a
But DLC
promised
is stuff
feature.
that you have to additionally, because there are free DLC, but I'm primarily, I guess, thinking that this is for the best worst thing DLC that I have to pay for that wasn't originally included,
Right.
that I have to go out of my way to download. And sometimes they're amazing. They do the best stuff, but then it's also like I have to pay more money for
Yeah.
this.
Tell me about the rotten stuff, guys.
Ah.
Now we got the best. That's the worst part. Tell me. Free reign.
Okay,
Free reign.
okay.
I'll give you the
We'll
podium.
We'll start with the bad stuff, but that's not super bad. Like Spider-Man DLC, I just pay $10 and I get like one mission and I get a bunch of different new. It's like the ones that give you more costumes. I like costumes, although cosmetic DLC is also down there for some of the worst DLC
Yeah,
around.
completely agree.
I'm paying to look cool, which you do for most games, but those are free games, so that's okay. But it's the DLC that gives you like one or two missions and then more collectibles. Like now you can spend 3 hours collecting.
Yeah, you gotta
find
go-
all the
you
tokens,
download it, and then you
find
still gotta
all
go do the work.
It's like what? I just collected all the tokens.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy this part of the game. Hello, why are you giving
Yeah.
me more? So that's that's something. But the worst DLC is definitely like, hey, we gave you. I'm talking about some certain kind of developer. Hey, we gave you. Here's our game. Pay $60. I know it's not complete yet, and I know it's all buggy. You can buy this season pass though to get all of this content, or even a game like Rainbow Six. That's like, hey, pay this money to play this game. No offense, I think Rainbow Six is a great game, but now
they had a
you have
terrible
to
model.
grind out of your mind
Yeah.
to play these characters,
Yeah.
or pay for them. You know, it's pretty
They,
ridiculous.
I completely agree. They did have a terrible model, and I was actually going to talk about Rainbow Six Siege's model because, like you said, like I should have the game when I pay for it, and then you know to get more, it's like it's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous model. At one point, I talked about like it's okay if a game company does microtransactions by itself, or paid DLC by itself,
When you have-
or a full paid game up front by
Season
itself.
pass,
but
battle
when,
pass.
Yeah, but when you have a season pass, microtransactions, you know, a full
And
game
it's
up
a
front,
paid
and it's a
game?
paid game, it's like okay, that's you're pushing it a little bit. And so like Rainbow Six did that for a while, and that's exactly what I was gonna say too. Is that Rainbow Six is not a great model.
For me personally, it is those. Oh my. For me personally, it is those like rainbow. Or I'm sorry, not rainbow, but the EA titles where it's like, hey, Battlefield 1's coming out
That's
for
what I was-
$60,
yeah.
but you know what? If you pay $100,
That's what I was referencing.
a year from now,
Oh my
you'll still
God.
be playing Battlefield 1. And I don't know, man. There's a lot of
Oh
content.
yeah, we're gonna shut down all the maps so you
It's
can
a lot
only
of-
play on.
Yeah, it's a lot of content, sure, but it's a pretty hard ask these days when there's so many free-to-play games. That's one of the reasons why I think Battlefield 5 tanked, even
Yeah.
though it seemed really juicy and promising to me. Then I've got things like Destiny, where it's like, again, here's the season pass that's on its way, and the first DLC that came out was abysmal. And I was heartbroken because I love this game. I love playing with our Ukatsu community. Isaac, I don't even see that kid anymore. But just DLC is such a gamble now
Yeah.
that to ask for a season pass before you see any reviews, before you see any YouTube clips, before you see any streamers playing it, I don't ever want to endorse DLC for anything unless it comes from CD Projekt Red, or if it's like a fighter's
Yeah.
pass that you know I am going to be a competitor in this league and I actually
Right.
need these characters.
It does come down to the personal worth of it, like if personal value, like you said. If you're a competitor, yeah, it's worth paying it,
Yeah.
but otherwise,
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there. It shouldn't feel like you have to pay this to pay for this DLC to get the same experience that I was
Yeah.
already getting, right?
Yeah.
The ones that's like you basically have to get this DLC to keep playing the game, to keep playing with your friends. But whereas like you get like a fighting DLC, it's like, hey, that's a new character that you can learn, but you don't have to learn it. So, you know, or like story DLC. But
yeah, like I had the season pass for Rainbow Six Siege. It was worth it in my opinion because I was extremely competitive in the game and I wanted to be able to maintain that competitive edge with new
it
fighters.
makes you feel like you need to buy it though,
Right,
right?
yeah,
And that's the worst.
so-
So.
Liv, did you have anything to add to Best Worst Thing DLC before we wrap it up here?
Other than the fact that I need to finish The Last of Us and play its DLC.
I personally don't think you need to play The Last of Us DLC.
You don't think so?
Nope.
So, yeah, I did not play a lot of games with DLCs or that I played growing up, so I don't have too much to put on this topic. But yeah, I think it's cool that Smash is coming out with new characters, and you don't necessarily have to play them, but they're there if you want to learn them.
Yeah, that's what the stamp. I always imagine in my head the stamp that says "Best Worst Thing" DLC. All right, so let's move into our topic of the week, which is YouTube and how YouTube has obviously grown. It is the new TV. We hear kids quoting YouTube all the time, whether it's for good or bad. But let's rewind here. Let's do an actual YouTube rewind and talk about the beginning of our experiences with YouTube. Do you remember the first videos you're
God.
watching? What'd you learn, man? Let's start.
The Numa Numa song.
The Numa Numa song. Oh boy.
And Ryan Higa are some of my earliest
Yeah.
memories
Ryan
of.
Higa?
Niga Higa.
What the
Yeah.
heck?
What is
I'm
that?
talking like skateboarding dog.
That's what I was
Evolution
thinking
of
That's what I'm
man.
saying.
I was
For
like,
me,
what?
I don't remember
Cannon
that.
on the
Mine
electric
are not
guitar.
that old.
Cat who
so.
plays piano.
Dun,
Piano
dun,
playing
dun,
cat. Like
dun,
right.
dun,
Like that's what
dun,
I
dun.
was
See,
thinking.
I remember
of,
watching
like,
it.
what
Maybe
in the world?
I'm younger than you guys, I guess. But like for me, that stuff was like
I guess
in
that's-
montages when I
yeah.
first started watching YouTube. A little
Oh.
bit.
I guess that's true. Me and Joe would have similar
You guys have 4
early
years
watching
on me.
experiences.
Yeah, remember when they were
probably,
full movies? They
Yeah.
didn't even take them out.
Yeah, like you could yeah.
you could watch
YouTube was-
anything you wanted.
Yeah.
to.
See, I didn't really get to access YouTube until I got a smartphone, which was when I was in high school. Really.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
that
it
was still
probably
like
middle or
8
high
years
school.
ago. But at the same time, it's like
Oh my God.
I
Phil.
still missed
Yeah.
on like the first couple of
You
years.
just made me feel really old
I
when you
was
said
middle
8 years
school
ago.
where everyone's making Windows Movie Maker videos.
Oh my God, I remember that.
And there was
Oh.
there were hardly any corporate
Yeah.
videos. You know, no Jimmy Kimmel, no
Right.
no Good Morning America.
Yeah, it was too new. Everybody thought it was just gonna fall away and not be a big thing. Yeah.
What's that one guy's name that he talks about the news all the time? He was pretty big. He's got the spiky hair.
Philip DeFranco.
Philip DeFranco.
Oh, I
Philip
was like,
DeFranco was
yeah,
a
there you
big guy on YouTube.
Yeah.
Isn't he still big?
He's
still-
still really
he's-
big.
he-
Yeah.
he
yeah.
is.
But that was kind of the origin of my YouTube experience.
I
Mhm.
came
DeFranco's one of
in.
mine.
I came in around like
a lot.
Nigahiga. Smosh was blowing up.
Yes.
Jenna
Marbles.
Marbles.
That was probably
Yeah,
the
Smosh, Jenna Marbles.
golden age.
That was the
Maybe.
golden
Oh, the
age.
golden
Yeah.
Age, yeah.
Well, there was not as much. I didn't get hit by ads every video.
I-
was-
I
it
got
was-
quality.
right.
Quality content is where quality content meant less restriction.
Yeah, it was
And it's
very,
like,
very
boom.
loose. Yeah.
I definitely watched way too much YouTube. I think I was
Yeah.
subscribed to probably 50 channels,
Yeah. I
and
think I
I
still
went through
watch
every
much.
night and watched all the new stuff. I watched
It
way
was
too
the
much
web
YouTube.
series. I watched a lot of web series.
Oh, yeah,
I watched
yeah.
the
I did.
Guild
Yep.
a lot.
I watched
on
a
there.
lot
What
of
other
web
ones
series.
I watched. But yeah, that
Yeah.
was. You can't do it anymore. Now you can't.
Mhm.
No one does web series on YouTube. They find
Yep.
other ways to monetize it and put more paywalls in front of it. But yeah, that's kind of what I guess I would think of as at least my golden age.
Me and
Quality
Ben are
content
closer in
for
age.
free.
Yeah.
Well, we
Yeah.
grew up. We had that too. Like,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
watched that too.
Yeah.
But
That was like
that's
my
not when
first
we- that's not when
experience
we
with
came
YouTube.
in.
Yeah, that's where I
Yeah,
came in.
yeah.
And it was like
I
YouTube's
think of that
great.
as like YouTube established at
Yeah.
that point.
Yeah,
Where
that's agreed. Yeah,
we're
I
like-
remember when it was just like this terrible design on the website. Like it was,
Everything's in
it-
480p.
Yeah,
and
I do
and, like,
remember-
the player was terrible. So.
I do remember the logo. It used to be gray and brown, and it had like an old TV on it.
Yeah.
And it like you're
I do
like,
remember that. Yeah.
yeah, that was
TV.
what it was. I think in middle or the beginning of high school until they switched to the red and white logo.
Yeah, it buffering took forever. Like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember all
But
that.
yeah, that's what the app
It's
looked like on the old iPhones, and I never had an old iPhone at the
Did you guys
time, but I always
learn?
saw it.
You guys learn on YouTube? What
I-
did you learn?
I did.
I learned
Cultural
stuff on
or
YouTube.
instructional?
I remember watching all the fighting science videos. Why-ya, why-ya. Yeah, this is how you do this kick, savate, the
Oh
leverage,
my
and the
God.
science behind that. I watched a lot of sports stuff. I watched a lot of sports stuff on YouTube. That's how I got into sports, was from YouTube. And Minecraft videos. Yeah, that was...
Nice.
But what did I know I learned some educational stuff. It's in there in my brain somewhere. I just can't think of it at this
Early
moment.
days of YouTube, I watched a lot of survival stuff. So I learned how to, like, make shelters out of nothing. You know, how
Will
to make
thing.
rope. Like, yeah, I
We'll
Boy
learn
Scout over here.
practical
I just-
things in an apocalypse.
Yeah, like I just watched a lot of survival stuff. So, or that was like early days. I don't know why I was so fascinated with it. Recently, I used YouTube for learning esports.
Yeah,
That's my
esports is
biggest.
big.
Yep.
Transition now.
Yep.
Gordon Ramsay was a big one too.
I'm
but-
actually
I still
currently
watch
watching
Gordon
all.
Ramsay
I watch Gordon Ramsay
sometimes.
all the
That is
time.
the weirdest thing. I'm literally currently watching Kitchen Nightmares.
Yeah.
They literally just
lot of
started
people
that.
Yeah.
That's a very big trend. Liv, what do you think? I think all of your personality is kind of summarized by, your YouTube, subscriptions and recommendations.
It's not a secret. It's apparent.
I know I do like YouTube. I was probably like addicted to it back in high school. I'm not even
Oh yeah.
joking.
Oh yeah.
It was the same with Vine. Like I would spend hours and hours on it. But I don't know. I like down to earth type channels, like stuff where they're just doing stuff just to try it out, or maybe they're just telling stories about their lives. I'm not like a huge fan of the people who put on a face who are trying to make some sort of personality. But so like I don't know. We'll get into recommendations later, I guess. But I just like real channels that just do
Real
st-
channel.
Real.
Doing it real.
just stuff that like they're
Not
not they're
What's
not
real?
trying to be completely professional.
What's
They have
fake?
humor.
What's real?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a
Is
good
Mr.
question.
Beast
That's
real?
Oh,
Is that
no.
all real stuff? It's
Don't
real.
believe everything. What's the Paul says.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what Indian Jonah is.
Yeah.
What is it?
George. Why did I say George Paul? What the?
George Paul.
His name, Logan Paul, Jake
Logan.
Paul.
Yep,
Yeah.
Logan Paul.
Was
and
I
Jake
did notice that I did start watching like some Mr. Beast. I noticed at the beginning some of his stuff was borderline like I don't know if he should be saying it and stuff he had on those walls, and I definitely noticed a shift as he got bigger, of how much he was actually saying like the stuff it shifted how he like did his brand.
Sellout.
Yep.
Sell
That's
out.
what you call a sellout. Yep.
Well, no,
I-
some of it was in a
I'm-
good
I'm
in a good
making
way.
fun of people
Yeah.
who
It
say
was
that.
like-
It's not actually selling out. It's growing up and being professional.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and he doesn't. He didn't change necessarily for his audience as much as he just didn't want to do the old stuff anymore, and that's fine. Like if you make a change because you don't enjoy doing something and you're an entertainer, that's perfectly fine.
Also, Will kind of resembles. Actually, no, Mr. Beast kind of resembles you a
Yeah.
little bit.
I don't know.
it's
He's
probably-
richer than you are. You probably
Yeah,
resemble him
I-
more.
it's sad.
I
It's
have
sad, but
$10,000.
I think Mr. Beast is from Tennessee.
Oh.
So,
He is,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
Are you guys
probably.
related?
No, I'm almost 100% certain though that there was a guy on one of his videos one time that I'm almost 100% certain was one of my friends back in like high school. I saw him and I was like, wait a minute, do I know that guy?
Which one?
Wow.
I can't remember the video. I've
Little
only watched
know
a
it.
couple of them, but like we'd have to like go back and look. But I swear to God, I looked at it. I was like, wait a minute, I don't even know that guy.
Yeah, for me, YouTube, I consumed a good amount of YouTube. I learned a stupid amount on YouTube.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very self-taught in that way.
Mhm.
Of if I really want to get down to it, whether it's videography, tech stuff, camera stuff, voice acting, any little stupid
Yeah.
fad that I was into. How to solve a Rubik's cube.
How to
who
play
would
piano.
I learned how
Wing
to make
Chun
like,
versus
Yeah.
Yeah.
Krav Maga and
I
all these stupid little silly
learned how to
things.
work on
Yo-yo
like,
tricks.
engines stuff.
Oh man,
That's
but
Yeah, also
that's
on
the
music
cool.
stuff.
That's
Music
like the
stuff.
cool thing is now that YouTube is so big, there's
You
literally
can learn anything.
you won't need to learn how to jumpstart a car. They know, or if you
Yeah.
need to learn how to like
Chris Fix.
there's like I learned like you can learn just how to literally
Pretty much
become a
everything.
game programmer
Yep.
just by watching a certain channel on YouTube, and you're fine, and you can start doing your own projects.
It's honestly how that's like my cliff notes now. If I'm like, okay, I need to learn this, I'll go to YouTube
Yeah.
and I'll get it done in less than 3. Like this whole Rainbow Six Siege competition, Eli, I know you're listening to this. I'm just gonna watch YouTube. I'm just gonna be like, hey,
Varsity Gaming.
Give me all Varsity Gaming. All right, I'll check it out.
It's like it's an encyclopedia now.
Yeah, but you do have to be careful. It's also
Fake.
it's also a best worst thing, but we'll pocket that for another discussion. We're running out of time here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna give you guys one recommendation each. No more
Oh.
than 30 seconds on why. Let's start with Benny Boy.
Oh.
3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, well, I don't really watch YouTube. There's 2 YouTubers though that come to mind. One actually is a smaller guy. He does strong opinion sports. He's actually a sports podcast, and he's very professional. He does it entirely himself and breaks down a lot of analyst stuff. And he does a really great job articulating his own thoughts and presenting them as strong opinions. Really great guy. Check him out if you're interested in sports or just podcasts like that, or Giguk, because if you like anime, one of the best anime YouTube channels of all time. Giguk is great.
I think
Alright.
you just cheated. You
Yeah.
gave out two.
Fit the
Will,
30 seconds.
you're next.
All
Go.
right, I'm gonna say Mr. Fruit. I know he's really popular, and a lot of you guys probably already know him. But for me, it's nostalgia. He plays games with all his friends. I loved playing games with all my friends, and it's a very similar energy in his videos to when I was playing a lot of games with friends. So that's why I like watching him.
So everyone else knows here, but I like Jaden Animations. She's in her early 20s, but she basically just likes to animate stuff that goes on in her life, and usually it's something that went wrong. So it's great because she animates really well. She's really funny, and it's just overall pretty wholesome. So Jaden Animations.
Never heard of it.
Oh,
Good
really?
recommendation. I'm just gonna pull what I did earlier. Chris Fix is completely off topic, not related to gaming. But if you've ever been curious about fixing up your own cars or doing anything to your own cars, check out this man's YouTube channel. His production is the best thing I've ever seen. He uses like just GoPros and stuff, but his transitions, his presentation, his white glove treatment on every single one of his videos, he deserves every single one of those dollars that comes his way. Even if you don't like cars, watch a video and you'll be like, "What the heck am I watching?" Like, I want to fix a car now. But
I want to fix
I
it.
want to fix a car now.
I've done nothing within those videos that I've seen, those many videos, but I'm glad I've watched every single one of them. And so, other than that though, last comments, just in general, for the podcast audience.
YouTube is great. Don't let it rot your brain.
Yeah.
You should always be trying to better yourself, and that's what I think YouTube's most powerful use is. So, use it wisely.
Yeah, I guess it's a little bit like Ben said, but watch who you're like. Be careful about who you watch, because not all the people on YouTube are great in giving you the best message about certain things.
Your best interest. Yes, I'm going to piggyback off of Will here. In that hour, I know you guys spend that hour laying in bed watching catching up on your subscriptions every night.
Stop watching me.
It's not 12:30. It's 1 o'clock now. Okay. Yeah, but take that time to say, hey, you know what? After I've seen 3 or 4 entertainment videos, maybe I'll fall asleep to the educational one,
I'll
and
learn
something
something.
will sneak through.
All of a sudden, I learned how to play ukulele.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, GCEA, all you
Ukulele.
need to know. But with that, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to our latest episode of the Ukatsu podcast. We hope you stay young, stay smart, strong, beautiful, bold, empowered, anything you want to be, because you can totally do that. It is all within your control. This is Joe, host of the Ukatsu podcast. With me, Ben, Will, and Liv. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
konnichiwa.